Satnam Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. I just want to make sure that I am indeed live. Something happening here. Okay, great. Okay, it looks like we're on. So if you could write down your name and not your name, I always say that. Your astrological information, your human design information, and where you're logging in from, that would be great. And just check something here. Okay, good. Okay, we got people here then. That's great. Okay, so the full moon on August 1st is in the shadow of codependency. It's the gift of sensitivity, and it's the city of sacrifice. And but I want to start off with this. As you know, Sinead O'Connor passed away a couple of days ago. So really interesting to look at her chart. She had a major influence on popular culture, especially in the 90s. Looking at her chart, she the South Node is in Libra, the sign of Libra, and it was right on her moon in Libra when she passed. And if you look at her, this is her human design chart, right? She's a 5. Do you see that? The 5.5 and the 47.1. Well, this makes her a 5-1 profile. This is the heretic, right? The 5. So the fifth line, if you have this yourself, you'll completely relate what I'm going to share, is they get projected upon. There's like a mystique around their aura, fifth lines. They're here to reach a lot of people. They're very, very powerful. And they're here to bring solutions. They're here to bring solutions. So what happens is there's this mystique, and so you can't really see them. You can't really see the fifth line people. So they get projected upon by their community and their public, right? Because she was a huge public figure. So she got projected upon, and we saw that. So the projection can either be devil or saint, right? So it has nothing to do with the fifth line person per se. It has everything to do with the person that's projecting, right? Is projecting, and we saw that in her history. She got projected upon a lot. And the other thing that I wanted to share too was she talked a lot about being abused as a child by her mother. And I looked at her astrological chart, and she had Saturn and Chiron in the fourth house. And that's a huge significator, right? She didn't receive any nurturing, any mothering, nurturing energy herself when she was in as a child. And plus she had Chiron in there, right? That's your deepest wounding. So, right, that's where Saturn and Chiron is. And then there's Saturn moving into her fourth house, and it's like you've got to deal with this wounding, and it actually affected her as a mother herself, right? So and also she's got her core wound is shame, right? The third line is shame. So the medicine here for shame is humor. So basically with our charts, what's the positive of our chart is it gives us a map, gives us a map of what we've come in through in this incarnation, through our karmas from past lives, what we're working on, what we're transmuting. And she was completely transmuting this shame, right? The wound of shame, but also this mother wound, right? This deep emotional wound, needing to learn to nurture herself, right? In that lifetime. So it gives you a map of that, but it also gives you the map of the way out, right? Of the way out. And it looked like she spent a lot of past lives, because she had planets in the 12th house, that past lives in like seclusion. That's 12th house is like prisons, psychiatric hospitals, things like that, or even rich monasteries, right? And so and addictions, right? That was in there too, like addiction, so held against her will. Religious, there was definitely a religious flavor there, and plus Scorpio, a lot of Scorpio, so that indicates wounding. So her way out was the North Node. So if you look at the nodes of your moon, the way out is your North Node and what to focus on. And hers was the sixth house, which is service, right? Is service and transmuting addiction, right? Addiction, the sixth house can be addiction. So service, but in a Taurus way, because the North Node was in Taurus. So that was like simplicity, right? Getting in touch with her body and the earth and grounding. And yeah. So I just thought that was interesting to share, right? And her number one shadow was impatience. So trusting the timing of things. And the other thing I wanted to say too is you look at Sinead O'Connor's solar plexus, right? That's our emotions, the 3635, the channel of transitoriness. She's singing right from her emotions. That's why her voice was so powerful for people, right? And even though her big song, Right Nothing Compares to You, the Prince cover, it's all about her mother. This was about her mother. So she's very connected to her mother and that mother wound. And then she's got the 59-6, and that's the channel of mating. So she can break down the barriers of people through her emotions, like break down the barrier, the ego barrier, so that she can reach people, right? That she could reach people. So very, very powerful chart here. Okay. Well, there's lots more to share, but let's get on with the full moon. Okay. The other thing was Saturn was coming. Yeah, like I said, Saturn, she was going through her Saturn return. So she had to deal. When you go through your first and second Saturn return, you've got to deal with stuff, right? It's very karmic. Okay. Yeah, Jenny Dixon, you can relate to that. Saturn conjunct moon in the fourth house. Yep. Yeah. So you have the same kind of flavor of that, but she had Chiron in there. Yeah. Remember that there's a reason to our suffering, right? It's not like God, some sadist, the divine is some sadist up there. Like, I'm going to throw Jenny some wounding here, and then I'm entertained by it. It's like there's a purpose to it. It's like it leads to your awakening, right? When we embrace it. Okay, so here's the full moon. Not a surprise in the 19, right? There, right? The 19, do you see that? The 19 is coming off the root here. And this is going through a huge transmutation. Is the 19 and the 49. And that's the channel of synthesis, it's called. This is breaking down for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So this is all about my needs, right? And the tribe's needs or society's needs, and how do I fit in so that I can get my needs met, which are basic food, shelter, clothing, right? So this is breaking down. Our codependency on outside authority is breaking down. So, and also I want to mention too, we're still in this channel of mutation. So the transit is like there's huge mutative energy on the planet right now. And this is coming from the inside out, right? This mutation. And if you carry this channel yourself natally, you're an agent of change. You're an agent of evolution. But we're all feeling this transit, like we have to change. We have to change. We have to change. So there's that. And just before I get like deep in the full moon, because Jupiter is changed as of today. It's changed to the 2. So Jupiter was in addictions 24. Jupiter was in 24 for a while, and now it's finally moved into the 2 as of today. So the 24 was the channel of it, or not the channel, the gate the gate of return, but it's the shadow of addictions. So Jupiter, whatever it touches, it expands. So I'm sure that you were dealing with some addictions yourself. So it's not just the usual suspects. It's my addiction is mind, right? So addictive, not to just drugs and alcohol, but negative thinking, thinking the worst, shopping, gambling, sex, relationships, whatever it is, you would have been shown that because Jupiter would have expanded it for you, right? And now it's moved into the two. And the two, this is the magnetic monopole, right? Right here is the two. So it's around the sternum area. And so this is a monopole. Monopole means that I attract, but I don't repel, right? There's no repulsion there. It's attraction. It's attraction. And basically it's you're designed to be led led on a trajectory, right, through time and space for this incarnation. And it's not coming from the mind, right? It's not coming from logically. I'm going to go to school and I'll get this degree and then I'll get this job and that. No, this is coming from deep, deep inside you. It's that knowingness. Like sometimes you're just led to do something and you don't know why. It's like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I just feel led. That's your magnetic monopole is activating you. And it's orienting you. So that's the gift is orientation here with the two. And the shadow is lost, right? So Jupiter will expand any part of you that thinks you're lost. I'm in the wrong relationship. I'm in the wrong place of living. I'm in the wrong country. I'm just in the wrong place. That's the shadow. You're never lost, right? Because it's like a wave on the ocean. That wave can never feel like they're lost, right? I've got to get back to the ocean. No, you're always connected. Remember that this time that we're in now, it's moving the authority away from the mind and the ego into the solar plexus, right? That's going through the huge mutation, focusing on your heart and your intuition, being led by that, not your mind and your ego now, right? So there's a few things that I wanted to mention here. And then we still have Pluto is activating the nodes of the moon, right? So Pluto's activating this 50. That's the self node. That's the shadow of corruption. And the 3, which is part of the channel of mutation, right? 3 is the north node here. So it's still activating the 3 and the 50. So letting go of corruption, which you can look at as a frequency of energy. Anything that's corrupt, what's corrupt is not aligned with you and your authentic self. So letting all that go, right? This is the Libra corruption, right? So it has to do with our relationships, completely in tune with this codependency, right? We have to let go of codependency in our relationships. So let's just talk about this codependency in terms like spirituality, right? Is codependence because we live in a plane of duality, right? This is just how we experience life, and this because of the mind. The mind is dualistic. This or that. That's what the mind perceives, and we believe that that's us. So we believe in separation, right? There's always a me, and there's a you, and there's me and other people, right? The separation. This is what the ego keeps us in the illusion of separation, right? So let's go even deeper. That even we believe that we're separate from the divine, right? That's duality. And this is codependency. This is like if we go to the root of the shadow of codependency, I feel like I'm separate from the divine, right? The divine is outside of me, and right, and I'm separate from the divine. And this is what religion has taught us in the Piscean age, and it's not true, right? The divine is inside you. You are the divine. There's no separation, right? So what comes with that? A few things is I'm not enough. I'm not enough as I am, right? Because I'm in this illusion that I'm codependent and I'm separate from the divine, right? So this is what we're transmuting, And also in terms of our relationships, it's like really the full moon is going to really illuminate any areas where we're in the shadow of codependency, where we're putting that person or thing, right? Or environment or whatever it is, what's outside of us, and we're putting it between us and the divine. We're making that thing the our God, basically, right? And we can do that with people. That's what codependency is. So what else did I want to say about that? Um, so be digging that up for this full moon. And this has to do with Aquarius. We just the Mars just moved out of the 40. Right now we still have the channel of community is still activated, I think for like 20 more minutes or something like that, right? So we were in this field of community. It's like finding our right community, finding our soul allies. That's moved, but we're not out of it because Aquarius, with the 19 here is in the zodiac sign of it's the full moon in Aquarius. That still has to do with groups and community. So it's about finding your groups and community, right? And it's part of this channel, the 4919, right? The channel of synthesis. This is about, there's a lot to talk about with this channel, but I want to just focus on one thing, and it's our relationships. And this is bonds made and broken. So if you have this whole channel defined natally, then you're going to go through like several bonds made and broken, with your relationships. It's the divorce channel, basically, right? So this means that people will be coming and people will be going, right, for this full moon. And maybe you have a sense of that. And just with Pluto squaring the nodes and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, it might be a surprise to you. You'll have like this sudden insight. Oh, this is who this person really is. They're not aligned. We're not on the same path, you know? And I talked about that with my Phoenix Club, right? Like, what's a Phoenix? Maybe you're on the path of the Phoenix. What's the path of the Phoenix? Going through huge transformation in this lifetime, right? So the Phoenixes can feel kind of crazy at times if they're surrounded by seagulls, right? And the seagulls are flying around and they're like, I'm not going through what you're going through. You're going through huge purging and you're going through the ups and downs of life. Like everything's just all chill for us seagulls. We don't understand you. You start to question yourself as a phoenix, So this could be part of it too. It's like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by these seagulls and it's not me. I'm a phoenix and I have to start to embrace, right, this archetype of the phoenix, and they go through huge change. So there could be bonds made and broken because people are choosing now. They're making their choice. Are they going to choose their spiritual path? I mean, we're all on a spiritual journey, but are we choosing this path? Like, I'm doing it in this lifetime, right? I'm transforming myself. I'm purging the past, all these ancestral wounds. I'm purging it, and to be like reborn through the ashes of that as the phoenix over and over and over and over again. This death rebirth process that we're going in, right? So there could be bonds made and broken now. So just to be aware of that. So really, this is the gate of wanting. So like, okay, I have these needs now, right? How am I going to get them met? So it's the balance between your needs and the needs of the tribe or the community, right? So that's the question. So the codependency is the fear of being alone, right? So let's look at the tarot, and then we'll go deeper into the shadow here, and then we're going to do the signs, right? So this is correlates to the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords, you can see he's got a little smirk on his face, like he won that little battle, right? He hasn't won the war, but he won the little battle, and the other two are walking away. Like, they put down their swords. I won. This is so the ego. So the key words here are mind games, conflict, competition. So remember, this is about getting in the right group, right? With the 19, how do I, first, you've got to be your authentic self. And then it's like, okay, so what are the right groups that are aligned with me as a phoenix? I'm on the path of the phoenix, of this change and liberation in this lifetime, right? So here's some questions. Do I believe in competition or collaboration? The ego has programmed us, programmed our whole world that we need to compete. We need to compete for our food and shelter and clothing, right? Or do I collaborate with others? This is the archetype of Aquarius. Do I collaborate with others? Do I need to win at all costs? That's the ego, right? Why am I fighting and who is fighting with me? And also to keep in mind too with the Five of Swords is don't avoid confrontation if correct. You can feel that inside you. It's like sometimes you gotta stand up, right, for your convictions, right? Stand up for your convictions, but it's not coming from the ego. It's coming from your soul, right? This is self-respect. It's self-love, if correct. So keep that in mind with the Five of Swords, that maybe you might be called to do that for this full moon, right? You should be getting hints anyway of like, this is how the divine works. It gives you the heads up, right? The heads up, and lets you know like, oh, there's change coming, right? Because people show us who they are, they show us who we are, but sometimes I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. Or we make excuses for them, right? It's like, don't look away. Don't look away. Aquarius, it's the truth. I want to see the truth of who's around me, who's surrounding me. Okay, so let's look what the ego is saying here. So you got a sense of this shadow of codependency. Remember, you're letting this go. Well, it's a deep fear of being alone, right? And you can feel way more alone. If you're a phoenix surrounded by seagulls, you're going to feel alone, way more alone than if you're actually physically alone in your place of living. You'll feel more alone when you're with the wrong people. I need attention. This is the codependency, and I use guilt in order to get my needs met. So remember, with the shadow, you're going to see it in yourself, but you'll also see it in other people a lot easier. And to enter into relationships where I or another person must sacrifice a part of my true. That's what's the lower frequency of sacrifice. I'm going to enter a relationship, but this part of me I have to push down because that other person doesn't like it, or I don't think that they like this authentic part of me, or maybe they even told me, I don't like that about you. Maybe you were told that as a child. That's where the conditioning starts, right? That's codependency. Instead of here I am, right? Here I am, fully myself. Love it or leave it, your authentic self. This isn't about your behavior and your actions and things like that. This is like your essence. Here I am. This is my essence. To feel needed, right? This is the codependency too. I attract clingy people to me to avoid loneliness. It's I need to feel needed. I'm isolated and alone and angry that no one else is supporting me. That's codependency too. And I'm not enough as I am. And this is the duality that I talked about, that we live in this plane of duality. So we believe we're separate from the divine. We believe we're powerless, right? I'm not enough as I am, so I need something outside of me, right, to bolster myself up. And this is a lie. So the shadow fears being alone, and the shadow can feel victimized by your oversensitivity. So the shadow of codependency is like, I'm too sensitive, right? I have to isolate. I can't be around people. And this is your strength, is your sensitivity, is your strength. So the gifts here, sensitivity and sacrifice. So remember, with shadow work, you have to see it. So this means that you become aware of what's going on in the thoughts of your mind. That's number one. Meditation gives you that relationship between you and your mind. And that's another gift of Aquarius is detachment. I'm able to detach and to watch. And then you'll start to, oh, I'm having some codependent thoughts here, or I'm saying this thing that's not really true, right? But it's about hooking that other person to me, or what I think they want to hear. Like, you got to dig this stuff up, but you'll start to see it with the full moon. So the gift here is when you transmute the shadow, so you see it, you feel it, any emotions that come up around the shadow. Well, you're psychic. You tap into your psychic abilities, and you're able to interpret other realms of existence. You hear spirits and angels. You're interdependent. So codependency is I'm dependent or I'm independent. I don't need anybody, or I need, I'm clingy. And then you become highly attuned to the needs of others, the true needs of others. You access the gift of being able to touch the heart of another, which makes you an excellent healer or therapist. You're able to communicate with animals. The 19 is very connected with animals. If you have that natally, you love animals and you should have a pet. You're attuned to the future needs of humanity. And you know that you're whole and complete as you are, your higher self, your authentic self. This is your I am consciousness, who you really are. And what's the sacrifice? Well, you're able to sacrifice your ego to your divinity. You're able to sacrifice your lower self to your higher self, right? This is the increase in vibration. So those are the gifts there. And I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say about that. You know, it's connected to the 33. That's what I want to say right here. It's coming off the throat, right? So that what makes it a full moon is the 33 is in opposition to the 19. And these are called programming partners. So they work together, the 33 and the 19. And the 33 is the shadow of forgetting. It's the shadow of forgetting. So it's forgetting who you are. It's forgetting that you are a spiritual being having human experiences. And this makes you codependent. Does that make sense? I'm codependent when I don't know who I am. I don't know how powerful I am. I forgot, right? So the gift is mindfulness and revelation. So that's about being present, right? Being present to yourself, like your inner self, and you start to feel your power. And then I'm okay. If there's nobody around me and it doesn't look like I have any support, I go inside and I feel, and this is right, because this inner energy within you, this field of energy of who you really are, is a lot larger and more powerful than the fear of being alone. So when you touch into that space, then the fears start to dissipate, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me get my stickies up here. Okay. We're not going to start with Pisces. Okay. So let me just look at any comments. Anybody's got to say anything. Okay. 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 So before we get into the signs, I just want to plug the Phoenix Club. So this is a virtual space, and it's for the Phoenix people, the people that are going through massive change. And so it's going to be ratcheted up this year. So if you know that's you, then you need community. You need conscious community. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the physical. We're not, the thing is, the divine's not going to put us all together. Like, oh, everybody's going to live in San Diego. It's like, no, we've got to spread out. We've got to spread out, but we can connect through the internet. That's the beauty of technology. That's Aquarius, right? So what comes with the Phoenix Club? And so this, my Awakening the Phoenix program is more feminine. It's about nurturing yourself. It's about comforting yourself, going deep into the emotional realm, right? This is very feminine. Well, the Phoenix Club is very masculine. It's very masculine, but it will merge the feminine in the masculine energy. So this is about your soul purpose, right? The Phoenix Club is to get going on your soul purpose. And so it comes with a daily transit report. So human design transit report. These are like under 10 minutes, and they come with the tarot too. And then weekly Sunday Zoom meetings. So an hour to an hour and a half. And so that's check-ins, it's spiritual teachings, the group meditation, goal setting, accountability, and all connected to your soul purpose. So you're moving forward. And then this is, of course, is the connection, the community connection, right? All the people on the path of the Phoenix. And so there's a 7-day free trial if you want to check that out. And our first meeting is this Sunday at 9:30 Hawaii Standard Time. Okay, so if you feel really called, like, oh, my intuition is really zinging on this, then at least give it a try, right? And see what happens. Okay. Okay, so let's go into this full moon and we'll check out, where are we going to start first? Okay. Oh, the other thing too, we want to look at the ruler, right, of Aquarius, and that's Uranus. And Uranus moves or is in the 23. So the 23 is coming off the throat. And this is simplicity, right? Simplicity is the shadow of complexity, and it's quintessence, your quintessence, right? So this is all about you being your authentic self first, right? Because any group where you're not your authentic self, you're going to be swept away by the group ego. And the group ego is a lot more powerful than just your individual ego, right? As your own, as a person, right? And you see this with cults. You can see this on the planet. People just they read something on the news and they're all parodying the talking points that they heard on the news. That's the group ego at work. It's really, really powerful. So we have to individuate first, right? That's what Aquarius teaches us. Okay, so let's start with Aquarius then. So this is Aquarius. Put this up here. So this is Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. Okay, there we go. Okay, Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. And that, of course, is in your first house, right? So where are you dependent, Aquarius? On your body, on your image, on your self-image, not just your physical form, but the image, the mental image you have of yourself. Maybe there's a codependency there that I'm so dependent on this image that I present to the world because I get my needs met when I look like I have it all together, when I look like I'm the expert and I'm the intellectual one, right? So whatever it is, what mental image you have of yourself is false anyway. Because we're changeable, right? We're so changeable. So to dig that up, right? This is what you have to let go, and you need to sacrifice it to the divine. And a good mantra for you, Aquarius, is I don't know who I am. I have no idea who I am. And I know that sounds crazy. If you said that to a psychotherapist, they're like, you get in the office pronto. But spiritually, that's the truth. We don't know who we are. We're discovering that, right? We're discovering that. We're so vast beyond the name that you were given at birth, beyond your mind, beyond your physical form, right? So you want to be digging that up where you're dependent. I'm codependent on this, right? I'm ready to let this go. I'm codependent just even on my body, right? I'm so in fear of what will happen to it, right? That codependency. Okay. Anything else for Aquarius for that first house? And remember with this the shadow of codependency, there's always a payoff, right? What's the payoff of feeding this image that I have of myself? What's the payoff? What do I get? And what in the I mean ego. What does the ego get from this? Right? Yeah. And to dig that up, right? Dig it up to be in truth. Okay. So let's go for Pisces now. There we go. There's Pisces. Okay, there's Pisces. We'll get rid of Aquarius. Whoops. Okay. So Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. Well, that's going to be in your 12th house, right? So this is addictions, right? This is addiction. So the codependency, a lot of people are codependent on their addictions. That's that crutch. I need that thing every day. It could be a person, right? It could be like it's necessary. It's going to be with the 12th house. It's going to be something that you use to escape yourself, right? So it could be alcohol or drugs or food, right? Look at that. Like, what's that thing that I go to that I need, right? To escape, right? That's what you're codependent upon. And you're not looking to the divine. So the higher frequency of the 12th house is I'm looking to the divine, right? When I'm going through a hard time and I'm going through suffering, Pisces goes through a lot of suffering, right? They're a very sensitive sign, is I'm going to go to the divine, right? I'm going to go to the divine within me to get through this. I don't need this thing outside of me, right? Codependence is anything outside of you that you're leaning on. So to look at that, and also you'll know, here's a hot tip. You'll know if it's an addiction when you're isolating with it, right? You're doing it on your own in secret, right? Because the shadow loves to be in secret in the shadows, right? And the shadows in the darkness. So you want to sacrifice that. Okay. Anything else for that? And the great thing is it's in the 12th house. So it's an ending, Pisces, for you. It's some kind of ending, like it's the last thing for you to let go of. Okay. Let's go to Aries. Let's see, there's Aries. Aries. Okay. So this is Aries, sun, moon, or rising. And that, of course, is going to be in your 11th house. So this is codependency on your friends, right? Or your friends being codependent on you, right? So what friends are you holding on to that are not aligned with you? If you're a phoenix, you're going through a huge transformation, and they don't seem to be transforming. They're not doing their inner work. They may feel like stagnant to you. They're the same that they've been for years and years and years, refusing to change, right? And maybe you fear being alone. If I look at that, if I go through my list of friends, well, they're not on the same path as me. I know that, right? So the full moon will illuminate that for you. Who's on the path with you and who's not, right? So there's that fear. Remember the fear of being alone. Well, I'll have no friends. Well, the universe doesn't like a vacuum, right? So what it does, it allows for the correct, right? Aquarius, the correct friends to come in for you that are on a similar path as you, right? So to look at that, and I know Aries doesn't want to admit that about their friends, and then it also can work the other way. The friends are a little bit too clingy with you, not being self-sufficient. on their own. What else about friendship and network? And maybe being called to be your own friend for a while, like to be your own best friend for a while, if that's the case. And the thing with the full moon, it's not going to be, you don't have to make this big proclamation. I'm done with you. You're not on the same path as me. As the Aries, they'll just be taken away, right? They'll just be taken away. Okay. Let's go for Taurus, sun, moon, or rising here. And that's happening in the 10th house, of course, right? The 10th house. So there could be some dependency in terms of your career. In terms of your career, your reputation, your social standing. Could be even some codependency to the government, because the 10th house rules the government. So I'm dependent on this assistance that I'm getting, this government assistance. I can't let this go. Maybe my intuition is saying it's time for you to move forward on your soul purpose. And but I can't let go of this assistance. If I let go of this assistance, then I can't, and the mind's coming up with all these strategies. So looking at am I overly dependent upon this assistance outside of me? And it's going to come through finances or your job, my career and what I do and what else will I do? I don't see any plan B or C or D. And remember, with the mind and the ego, when those thoughts start to come up, and they're all based in fear, they're always based in fear. The ego and the mind never tell you to trust the divine. The ego and the mind will never tell you miracles can happen. Nothing is impossible when you're with the divine, right? That's the truth of who you are. God and me and God are one. The divine is you, right? So so the illumination will come. And so things it's Uranus, right? So it can be unexpected. Suddenly you lose your job. You're not in that career anymore, right? Something very, very unexpected. So if that's happening for you, Taurus, it just means that Jupiter in the 2, right? With the magnetic monopole, you're being in Pluto squaring the nodes of the moon. You're being guided somewhere else to your right career, right? Your soul purpose. The 10th house is soul purpose too. And also look at your father, right? Because the 10th house can rule your father. Why isn't my father supporting me? Things like that. Well, this is the shadow of codependency. So it's about sacrificing all those fears, right? That I need something outside of me to get through these challenges and struggles that we're in right now. Right? And Aquarius lets you detach. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to emotionally detach from this. I don't know where the divine wants me to be in terms of my career, but I'm trusting. I'm going to trust and have faith in, right? If something's being taken away, then something will be replaced. That's how it works. The universe doesn't like a vacuum. Okay, anything else for Taurus? And it will take you somewhere better, right? That's more aligned for you. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, or rising, and that's in the 9th house. And this is your belief system, right? So the belief could be so entrenched within you. The belief is that I need somebody. I need another person in order to survive life and have my needs met, right? I believe that, well, it's, spiritual beliefs. I believe that the divine is outside of me, right? A lot of people have that belief, but this new full moon Gemini is going to illuminate that for you. Where don't you walk the talk? Well, it's coming out of my mouth. Gemini's got two sides to their mouth, right? They're the twins. Well, one part is saying, yeah, no, of course I trust in the divine. The divine's taking care of everything, right? And then you've got this other side of you that's no. When events start to happen in your life, that's when you throw that out the window and you get to the true belief, right? The true belief that's deep in your unconscious, right? That no, I'm separate from the divine and I have to do everything myself as the ego, right? I'm doing everything. That's the ego. I'm doing it all. And that's not true. That's not the truth. That's the delusion. So you want to sacrifice the ego, right? Sacrifice that and have faith in something much, much larger than you, right? The higher self. That's the ninth house. And let go of these beliefs that are not true, right? So they'll start to surface, right, for this full moon. Yeah. Um, and it will affect how you see the world, right? Because of the ninth house, how you perceive the world, Gemini. So you're not going to see yourself as separate, right? If you do this work though, this isn't guaranteed. Like you have to make the effort. It's just not given to you, right? It's what you do with it. Does it, right? Does this information, does this insight touch my heart? Does it go fully in? Am I digesting it fully? Then your perception will start to change and you're not going to see so much separation, right? You're going to see the connection. That's the sensitivity, the gift of sensitivity here, right? Anything else for that? But it's really about like a revamping of your spiritual beliefs have to change, have to come into alignment with the truth. Okay. So let's go for Cancer. There's Cancer. There we go. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So this is happening in the eighth house. So codependent with a marriage partner, right? Or a sexual partner, someone that you merged your finances with, your resources with. And this could be codependent on them, right? They're taking care of me. They're paying the bills, right? They're paying not maybe like a high percentage of the bills, right? And I'm dependent on them. And the truth is you're not in alignment anymore with this relationship, right? With this sexual partner. And but there's the fear, right? I fear being alone, right? I'd rather be with that person than be alone. I'd rather be with that person because they're paying the bills. How am I going to take care of myself? Right? Cancer says. So you want to let that go. Are you codependent on a marriage partner and somebody that's paying the bills, that's holding the purse strings? This is about sacrificing that and trusting in the divine, right? Trusting in your higher self, right? To be taken care of, that your needs will be taken care of, right? So just look at that in truth, because Cancer likes to cling, right? Cancer likes to cling to things, people, and their home, and right? Yeah, and other people's money. And so this is the unknown. It's like stepping into the unknown. I don't know how this is all going to work out, but remember what I said, it's the ego and the mind will never let you know. Well, if you can't let that person go, well, how are you going to pay your rent? You can't afford it. It's all about limitation. And the ego and the mind will never tell you about the divine. Will never say, trust in the divine. The divine knows the way. Just when you think that the path won't appear, there's the path. The divine provides the path for you. The ego and mind will never tell you that, right? So just relax into this, right? This full moon. There's a detachment, right? With Aquarius, you're going to be emotionally detached. That's really good for you, Cancer, so that you can just see it in truth. There it is in truth, neutral. There it is. That's the truth of the matter, that I can't stay in this relationship. Right? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. I'm gonna step out of this relationship. I'm gonna step into the unknown. Right? Okay. Okay, that's it for Cancer. So let's go for Leo. Leo, sun, moon, or rising. And this is happening in the 7th house because it's directly across. So this is about your partnership, right? So maybe being codependent on your partner or on people outside of you. Needing to be needed, right, Leo? Right? So you can be clingy or you can attract clingy people to you, right? So look at the people in your life, right? Because the 7th house is just the other. It's other people other than you. And maybe you're leaning too much on them or they're leaning too much on you. It's completely out of balance, right? The relationship is out of balance. And there's this fear of being alone. Well, that person's not so bad, right? And you know that you're just not aligned. You're on different pages. Maybe you're the phoenix and they're the seagull, and you're not on the same page, but you're making excuses. That's the shadow of codependency, the ego and mind. Well, at least it's a person, at least it's company, their company, and you make a lot of excuses for them, right? I'd rather that than being alone by myself. Okay. So this is about detaching from other people, right? Detaching from these other people. And also to look if they're clingy to you, if it's unequal, the energy flow is not in balance, right? To look at that and why am I attracting these clingy people? Right? Maybe I'm like fiercely independent and I don't need people. That's also the shadow of codependency, right? So to look at that, and the full moon will illuminate that for you, where you're in the shadow of codependency. And also the attention thing, right? Because Leo, sun, moon, or rising, they like attention and they like to feel important. This is the shadow of Leo. Is that if you have somebody that's playing you, because this is mind games, right? 5 of Swords, it's mind games. Oh, these other people are fawning over me, right? They're telling me how great I am, and you're so this and you're so that, and the Leo ego is just taking it all in, right? And then they're playing you to get something from you, right? And this is the codependency. They're getting a need met from you, right? So just to watch this, like this is how subtle this can work. And if you have a need, like I need attention, right? Somebody can, as soon as you go into that need and want energy, then you can be played and manipulated. So manipulated and played by other people. They'll play you like a fiddle, right? So just to be aware of that, this codependency of the people around you, the 7th house. So watch the people around you. Yeah. And are they playing me? And am I in my ego and falling for it? Right. And the detach from others, right? That's the gift. You're able to detach from others so that you can have clear seeing. You can see these relationships in truth, because they may be draining you and keeping your true allies from coming in. Okay. Is that it for Leo? Yeah. Okay, let's go for Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. And that's in the sixth house of codependency. So the full moon's in the shadow of codependency and the gift of sensitivity in the city of sacrifice. So this is an interesting one because it's the fixer, right? So the sixth house is the natural, Virgo naturally rules the sixth house anyway. So this could be like you're codependent on fixing people. It's like an addiction to fixing people, right? The people with problems. Maybe you're attracting people with problems into your life, right? And so you're a natural fixer anyway, Virgos, but maybe you're being taken advantage of, right? With the sixth house to watch that. And people that are addicted to you. Well, my Virgo friend, right? She'll fix me. She'll tell me what to do. She'll tell me what to do. And they're clingy, right? And they can't seem to do anything on their own, right? They can't seem to solve any problem on their own. They're always running to you. They're on the phone with you in some kind of crisis, right? And you're fixing them. So that could be codependent right there, right? Or you could be dependent on having problems yourself, like health problem after health problem after health problem. Why am I attracting this to me? Why do I attract all these problems to me? Well, it's probably feeding, it's the shadow of codependency, but it's feeding that ego, right? Your ego. Ego needs problems, right? Ego needs crisis, needs conflict. And it's right why why am I in conflict with people? So to dig that out, these are your habits, like your daily habits. And yeah, I feel what, just because this has to do with people, is who's in your life, who's coming, who's on your caseload. Look at it like that. Like who's on my caseload here? And it could be in the workplace too, because the sixth house. Who's coming with the health problems and who's got a crisis? I only hear from them when they're in a crisis. They're codependent on me, or I'm codependent on them for the same reasons, right? So dig that up. Anything else for Virgo? Nope. Okay. So let's go for Libra, sun, moon, or rising. Libra, sun, moon, or rising, and that's in the fifth house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth house. So this could be if you have children, there could be some codependence on your children, like depending on your children. There could be a dependence on a romantic partner, right? So it's about maybe that romantic partner is really clingy, or you're clingy with this romantic partner, and it's not healthy for you. And this full moon in Aquarius is going to say, no, this isn't going to work because it's not in truth, right? Maybe you're clingy with that to romance, even Libra. This is the relationship sign, right, Libra? Right? That I need to be special, right? The fifth house is I need to be special. I need to be treated wined and dined, and right, given flowers and all of this. And I'm becoming clingy on my partner, especially when they're not fulfilling it, right? So look at that. Or maybe you're single and you're trying to attract a relationship to you, right? And it's not happening, and it's bringing up the shadow of codependence. That's another way of these shadows coming up, is we're not given what we want, the ego, right? The ego's projection. I need to be in a romantic relationship. I need to feel special. I need to be the beloved, right? And then it's not coming through because these shadows have to come up to the surface that are not true, right? So that they can be cleared and integrated. Anything else for Libra? No. Okay. Let's go for Scorpio. Sun, moon, or rising. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a big one. So the fourth house. So this is codependence on your mother. Let's say your mother, if your mother's still alive, there could be some dependence on your mother, needing to be around your mother, or needing to phone your mother for advice all the time, or Or codependency, Scorpio could be like, I'm not happy unless my mother's happy. That's codependence, right? I can't be happy if my mother is miserable. I have to nurture her. I have to help her. Could be codependence on the place of living where you're living, right? Overly dependent, overly emotionally attached to your home. Or a person that plays maybe your mother's gone, right? A person that plays that role of your mother that nurtures you. There could be some codependence on that. Not taking responsibility for your own emotional self, right? Nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself. Scorpio. But anyway, this full moon, Scorpio, is this full moon will show you where these patterns are for you, but it will be home, mother, nurturing, or even attached to your own role if you're a mother, right? That you're overly attached as this is my role, this is who I am, right? So, and I'm codependent on it. I need this. I need to be in this role because who am I if I'm not in this role, right? So to keep that in mind, and the full moon in Aquarius and the shadow of codependence will show you where these patterns are so that you can clean them up, right? Because this 19 is leaving, it's mutating, right, for humanity. Okay. Is that it for Scorpio? That's it for Scorpio. Let's go for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising. And that's in the third house. So there could be some codependency on your siblings. The third house rules your siblings, like your sister or your brother. Overly dependent on them, right? Overly focused on them. I've got to fix them, right? I have to take care of them, or they're overly attached to you, right? Right. So it's also, so look at your siblings, this full moon in Aquarius, the shadow of codependency will show you where those patterns are, because you're going to have the gift of detachment. So that emotional attachment will not be so strong for this full moon, right? Especially for a moon like Aquarius can be very detached. That's the beauty of it. Like, oh, I can see this in clarity, right? So also to look at your thinking, right? What's your thinking? Watch your mind, detach from your emotions and watch your mind. And that's what meditation gives you. It gives you a relationship between you and your mind. Are you having thoughts of codependency? You know, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, like those kinds of thoughts. And then the strategy of how I'm going to get these things, right? No trust in the divine, no faith in the divine whatsoever. So this helps you to detach from your thinking so you can observe your thoughts. Oh, I didn't know that those thoughts were there, right? The full moon is going to show me where those thoughts are. The habitual thinking, conditioned thinking. Maybe you've been taught to think like this, have thoughts like that you're not good enough, that you can't handle life without something outside of you, right? So this allows, when you do this, when you let these habitual thoughts go, like I'm not going to follow these thoughts. So worst thing you can do is follow the thoughts and then start to act on them, right? And that creates karma and a lot of suffering, needless suffering, because you're following something that's false and not true. Okay. And so remember that the mind can trick you, Sagittarius. It can trick you into thinking that you are the mind, and that's not true. You're not your mind. So I would meditate for this full moon, just go into meditation and go quiet. And right. And like, okay, I want to see, put the prayer out. I want to see my thoughts, what's been driving me, these thoughts. Yeah. And when you start to let this go, then new thoughts can come, Sagittarius, that come from deeper inside you, like from your intuition, right? Those kinds of thoughts, not like the surface thoughts from the ego and the mind. Okay. Anything else for Sagittarius? and to look at your siblings too, your relationship with your siblings, dig out any codependency there. Okay, so that's Sagittarius. And let's go for Capricorn. Where's the Capricorn? There it is. So there's Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And this is in your second house. So this is all about money, Capricorn, right? So codependent on money, right? Overly dependent on money. Believing, and a lot of people can relate to this, that money will save me, right? Money will save me. I'm facing the unknown. This is the new age of Aquarius. We're coming more into the present moment. We're coming into the unknown. That if I have all this money in my bank account, then I'll be okay. That's what your mind and your ego tell you. And as soon as you're attached to anything in this way, as soon as you're codependent on anything in this way, the universe will come along and take it. Will take it away. Your money will start to deplete, right? So that will be a sign. Oh, my money is depleting. I have all these unexpected bills, and suddenly all my money's drained out of my bank account. What's going on? What's going on? Well, it's to show you your attachments, right? Because it's really easy to say, oh, no, I'm neutral about money and I trust and have faith in the divine. But as soon as the rubber hits the road and the money's actually going, that's when these attachments can surface, right? Can surface so that you can see them, right? These codependent patterns in your second house. So also to look at, this is material, financial, right? But also to look at your sense of self-worth, right? Am I codependent on these material things? And this gives me my sense of self-worth, right? I'm worthy because I have money and I have material things. Well, as soon as that gets taken away, it's like, oh, I have shame. I have shame that I've got to deal with. I don't feel worthy. That's the truth, right? So the beauty, Capricorn, is you've got full moon in Aquarius, and that gives you your sense of detachment. So you're not so emotionally attached to the finances and the material, in the material world, your material needs, so that you can see this in truth, right? So that you can see in truth, because your true sense of self-worth comes from your divinity, right? Your higher self, your I am presence, Capricorn, right? So there could be, there could be some unexpected insights come to you. And so know if like there's something really weird that happens this full moon around your finances, like where did that come from? It's all about this, transmuting the shadow of codependency and sacrificing that ego that's like so attached, right, to the money. And Capricorn is earth sign, right? So you've got this anyway as an archetype. Okay. Okay. So that's what I got here for this full moon. And hopefully I'll see people at the Phoenix Club. So check out the link. I'm going to put the link in the information box. Okay. And this will get you set on your soul purpose and give you a sense of support in being with your allies, being with your fellow Phoenix people, because we're all on a fractal line, right? We've got 144,000 templates. So if you're really drawn to me, then you're on my template. You're part of my fractal line. And this is who we're serving, is the Phoenix Club. So you'll find these like-minded people as well, right? The sense of community, but also that confidence to really move forward on your soul purpose, what you're here to do, your soul contract, what you're here to do. So even the meeting that starts this Sunday, well, I require that you come with your human design chart, and then we're going to look at like this is what you look at. Zoom in right here. That's what you look at for your purpose, and this will support you on your journey. And remember, it's a 7-day free trial, so it's risk-free. And then all my readings are discounted, so you can check out the link there. And the waiting period isn't too long. Okay, this is the map. This is your map. Okay, so have a great day wherever you are in the world, and enjoy your this full moon, and be open to the insights that come to you. And remember, everything in life that's coming to you is serving you. All right, so thank you. Okay, Satnam, everybody.